Welcome to Brunettes Who Bitch, where the sports are hot, the takes are hotter, and we don't hold back because life's too short to sugarcoat anything. Welcome back to Brunettes Who Bitch, where the takes are hot, the drama is real, and we're about to draft the most hated, most iconic villains in sports history. And today it's all about the players who live rent-free in everyone's head for all the wrong reasons. We've got a draft on our hands. And if you're not here for the chaos, you're in the wrong place.
All right, here's the deal. We got 5 categories to draft from, and each of us will pick a villain to fit each category. You can defend your pick, argue someone else's pick, but most importantly, be prepared to stand by your picks because we're going to let people who are listening decide who has the best villain roster, I guess, technically. The 5 categories are most hated by the fans, the biggest rule breaker, ultimate rival, clutch villain, and off-field or off-ice menace. First up, the villain everyone loves to hate, the most hated by the fans. Kate, you want to start us off?
Yes. So people are going to get a laugh out of this one specifically because for most hated by fans, I chose Brad Marchand. So my logic behind this one is that like he's a huge agitator and he's constantly chirping his opponents and he likes to get under their skin and stir up drama on the ice. So one of my more recent examples was during the Four Nations game. He's like literally turned to somebody and said, "You fucking pigeon." I don't know where he came up with that. I don't know if that's like some type of slang that they have on the ice, but I've literally never heard that before. So I was like,
he chose chaos.
yeah. He also has a long history of questionable hits, so like dirty plays. He does some slew footing, cheap shots. He has a hefty suspension record, is basically the gist. And then the infamous licking incident. So in the 2018 playoffs, he licked both Ryan Callahan and Leo, Komarov. I'm so sorry if I butchered that last name. So he licked them on the face to irritate them. Ultimately, very weird. Another thing, embellishment. He exaggerates a lot of contact to draw penalties. He's a good player. People hate him because he's good. He's an effective left winger. He's a good captain when his team needs him to be.
I am one of the people who absolutely hates Brad Marchand, so imagine how I felt having to cheer for him in the Four Nations. I literally was losing. I literally yelled, "Go Marchand, go!" and then fell forward on the stool like, wait a second.
Like, what is the polar bear doing in Arlington, Texas right now?
That literally, I was like, what?
I never thought I would hear my mom cheering for Jack Hughes over Brad Marchand when they're both playing in the same game.
That's crazy.
I heard her go Jack, go! And I was like, why was I becoming endeared by Austin Matthews? I don't like him. But I saw a video on Twitter of him the other day, and I was like, oh, fuck off. Anyways, back to the topic at hand. My last point as to why people
she's not done.
This is my last one. He's funny.
He's funny.
So overall, he's one of the most humorous players in the league. And he's incredibly involved with the team's social media presence. And I wrote in all caps, he is a huge diva.
Huge diva.
And like, I don't know. I just think he is the most hated by fans. But like, if you're a Bruins fan, you just absolutely adore him. And like by association, obviously I'm not like a full-time Bruins fan. This hoodie was given to me for free. I'm not going to say no to a free hoodie. But I do occasionally become endeared by Brad Marchand. There was my thesis on Brad Marchand.
That was a whole thesis.
Really good thesis on Brad Marchand. All right, Sam, how are you topping that one?
I decided to pick Joel Embiid.
Oh, that's real.
And here's why. Okay, I'm not going to bring a thesis on him because I don't think he deserves more of a spotlight than he already has in the negativity. But it literally dates back to when he was literally in college. He was named the Process because he was so injury prone. So now that he's in the NBA, he developed a reputation for himself. Sure, he's a great player, 7-footer, sick. But in recent games, like playoffs last year, he was the dirtiest player that I've ever seen, stepping on someone's chest. Then you have the Jokic debate going on right now, thinking that Jokic is now the best center in the NBA, and that caused a rift between them two. But Embiid, the fact that I chose him over Draymond Green, and I can't stand Green as well, because he's also a crybaby. He's also someone who leads the league in technical fouls, getting ejected from the game, and I think that's within the last 2 seasons.
Wow.
Embiid just takes the cake from me, mainly because you got paid all this money to miss 400 games, but play in 400 at the same time. So the process is literally living up to his, right? The process is living up to his name. But I just can't stand a player who plays dirty and then plays the victim after the fact. Because he literally had an interview in July of last year where he was just like, I don't know why I'm so hated. I don't understand. I'm just a really cool, chill guy. Come on. You're not that oblivious to the world. You're not that oblivious to your actions, because you know dang well what you've done to be
That's so funny. But that's true.
hated.
It's true.
So
I mean,
I think just me saying
so.
I think just me saying Joel Embiid is just enough, because people can just already say just like, I just hate his face. That's like also me with Bryce Harper.
Yep. Lauren, you ready?
I was just thinking, like, what's the thing I've seen the most discourse over, like on Twitter and things like that? And Matthew Tkachuk has been like one of them. It's always his name, like floating around somewhere. I don't even know why people like. Okay, I hate him when he's playing my team, but I think he's great when he's not playing my team.
I was watching the newest New Heights episode that had the Kachuk brothers on it.
Oh yeah, they were on there.
Yeah,
I was literally like in bed watching it last night, and I was just giggling, and I was like,
Yes.
Yeah.
Just a little, like, he gets under people's skin, kind of like Brad Marchand does, right? Where he like, wrath you, right? That's really all you have to say is. That's all I got. Yeah. Like he's a good player, and when he's not on your team, you don't really like him.
Yeah,
I agree.
I didn't really like him on my team. Like I was like, I don't want to root for you, but you're really good.
Are we ready for mine?
Yes.
The refs.
Okay, Angel Hernandez, let's go.
That is a good one.
There's no accountability. They can make calls however they want. I literally have examples. Angel Hernandez is on my examples because he fucking is the worst umpire on the planet. We have Wes McCauley in the NHL.
Okay, but he's really funny when he makes the calls, which I think is great.
Or Chris Rooney, who just hates
the Hughes brothers.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Rooney's terrible.
We also have Scott Foster in the NBA. We have the Des Cardet debacle, and they're just purely inconsistent at all times. So
that's a good one. I think you win that one. I'll give you that one.
Yeah, you win that one. That was good.
Yeah, I'll give you that one.
I will give you that one. Moving on to biggest rule breaker, a player who's broken the rules and probably didn't even care. So mine for this one, I might have done this one wrong, because now I'm like, this particular person probably did care a little bit, but so for this one, I picked Tanya Harding. Yep. Harding's ex-husband and his associates hired a man to attack Tanya's opponent, Nancy Kerrigan, hoping to eliminate her as competition. Kerrigan was struck on the knee with a baton after a practice session, causing her to withdraw from the championships, which Harding went on to win, but was soon, since she was linked to the attack, she later admitted to helping cover it up, and so she was banned for life from competitive figure skating.
That's it, because that's a different type of example, and it actually, the anniversary of that happening just happened. Like it just occurred. I think last month.
Yeah, I think that's what kind of because I was looking through, and I won't lie, I did kind of Google some examples, and I did go off of what we discussed, and I was
I'm proud of you.
I was like this, yeah, that makes sense. I just saw a TikTok of the movie the other day.
Sam, you topping that?
Maybe, because I feel like mine is something that a lot of people forgot about, because it involved a scandal involving a team that was very prominent in college basketball. And it happened in 2015. I didn't want to name drop the head coach because he's very well known, especially with St. John's, like Rick Pitino, like very good coach. But he is also held liable for this whole scandal because he served as a mentor to the said recruiter who is, I'll get into the details in a second, who was considered the director of basketball operations at the time, who was getting prospective players and current players at the time to go to a place where there's sex workers, and they would pay this one specific woman thousands of dollars to, have intercourse with, and have lap dances, all of this stuff. And this went on through 2010, 2014.
If you're not watching this, I need you guys to stop whatever streaming you're listening to, and come to the YouTube and watch the facial reactions.
Andre was the director of basketball operations to prospective players and former players. A woman allegedly said that she was paid from 2010 to 2014 several thousands of dollars to provide these players recruits. So these are high school kids or possible transfers and current athletes at the time to give lap dances and to have intercourse with as a way to get them to come to Louisville. So then this whole thing went to a case. Pitino was fined and was later fired by Louisville because he was found that, he should have been required to monitor all recruiting activities. And with his director of basketball operations getting involved in unethical conduct and failed to cooperate with all these policies, that's not moral or at all. But yeah, so I wanted to do something that's not just LeBron James traveling everywhere he goes. I want to do something different.
Real. That man travels so far, he's in a whole nother country every damn game.
Facts. But Kate, look at Katie's face right now.
Yeah, you definitely topped mine with that one. I literally, at one point, I was like,
okay, so between Peds, lying about Peds, suing the MLB, and still acting like he did nothing wrong, Alex Rodriguez. He quite literally not only used Peds, but he lied about using them. There was the whole Miami Clinic scandal with A-Rod, where he ended up getting the longest suspension in the MLB. It was 162 games.
Oh, yeah, I remember this.
That's a lot.
It's
the whole season.
It is
almost the whole season.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
20 games less than the whole season.
That's crazy.
If we're talking about iconic rule breakers, no one cheated more than A-Rod. So that's why I went A-Rod.
There was two that were floating in my head, and now there's three. The first one was when I said Ohtani, because of the whole money
gambling,
gambling thing that happened with his
because how do you not know that much money's missing from your account? You're a fucking liar.
He knew dang well, but the MLB couldn't lose their reputation that was surrounding Ohtani because they were signing so many Japanese players who are very good, by the way, and they could not lose that. But now the Dodgers is going way out of a salary cap that now the MLB is debating on getting a salary cap. There's that. He's a good player.
The second player I thought of when you guys started talking about scandals was Tom Brady and the deflated footballs.
I have that in my notes. As one of the options, Deflategate.
Yeah.
Deflategate. That was the one that I was thinking of because, I hate Tom Brady. I am a Tom Brady hater, okay? And when he got caught for deflating footballs, I thought it was the funniest thing ever. The NHL player who got suspended for gambling, which was Shane Pinto. So basically, don't gamble.
Yeah.
I was going to say, notice 2 out of the 3 of them were literally gambling options.
Yeah.
I think there was, you know what? Now that I think about it too, there was one on the Raptors too in the NBA. He got, I forget who it was, but it was last season. There was a whole big scandal because he was in on some gambling thing. He would leave games to make sure that certain things hit and would pretend to be sick and whatever. I wish I knew who it was, but I don't. But for this, I'm going to stick with Tom Brady because I'm a Tom Brady hater.
Valid. I feel like a lot of people will agree with you on that one, but then you're
And
also going to get
Deflategate.
people. I feel like you're also going to get a lot of people just being like, "Oh, you don't know football. You hate Tom Brady. Like, how could
I
you
do hate
the
Tom
GOAT?"
Brady.
Like,
One of my friends tries to tell me all the time, like, "Oh, Tom Brady is the GOAT," and who played with him? Gronkowski.
yeah, Ron Gronkowski.
Yeah, he always tries to tell me like, "Oh yeah, like they're the best players," and I'm like, "Go watch Joe Burrow."
They were, I mean, at the time, they were a sick duo, I will admit, but I still can't stand them. You can't make
I
me
hate
like them.
him. You will not. I found out that I didn't realize that he played at the University of Michigan because I just never really paid attention to U Michigan football until this, like, in the last couple of years. And when I was at a game this year, I saw somebody wearing a Brady jersey, and I was like, "Hold up, Tom Brady played here."
Sam won that round, though, guys.
Oh, 100%.
I think I won that round just by Lauren and Katie's reactions alone. It was, I
100%.
mentioned sex scandal, they go,
Like the second you were like, yeah, the prostitute $1,000, blah blah blah, lap dances. I was like, it just keeps going. It just keeps going.
All right,
Round 3, ultimate rival.
rival.
Who is the one person who defined a rivalry for their team or sport?
So this one for me, so it's technically two people. So for this one, it's Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. So my reasoning behind this one was because, according to my research, because I'm not, obviously not a huge know-it-all in the other sports, but it was one of the most iconic rivalries in sports history. And it helped define the NBA in the 1980s and saved the league from declining viewership, if I am understanding correctly. Basically, their rivalry started in college in the 70s when Magic's Michigan State faced Bird's Indiana State in the 1979 NCAA championship game. Michigan won, delivering Bird a crushing loss, setting the tone for their professional rivalry, where in the NBA, it was the Celtics versus the Lakers. And the two teams were already pretty historic rivals. And then with Magic and Bird becoming the new faces of the league, it kind of like intensified it. Although, despite the intense competition, I guess they eventually became very close friends, which I think is honestly iconic. But
I was just gonna say that's iconic.
It's kind of cool that like all throughout their professional careers, they're like rivals, and then they're just like, yeah, we're besties behind the scenes.
mine's similar,
Ooh,
but
slay.
it's WNBA,
Ooh.
not NBA. So I chose two people who, one, I actually watched back in college for years because I love Gino Auriemma. Love Gino Auriemma. I wish I got coached by that man, but I chose the rivalry between Breanna Stewart and Aja Wilson because not only are the Liberty and Aces complete rivals from the championship back in like 2023 or 2024, I believe, when the Aces won, but also very similar. Breanna Stewart was drafted in 2016, but then Aja Wilson was in 2018. So they're relatively around the same age where they played against each other in college and now the WNBA, draft the same year. But now, Aja Wilson, being younger in the league, she set single season records last year with like over 1,000 points in a season, 451 rebounds, and is like the first player to lead the WNBA in total points, rebounds, and blocks in a season. Like, that's insane. And they're both very similar, like in playership, style, and like how they lead their team because they're both very similar in positions. And they're both MVPs at one point in time. They both performed at the same level of competition when it comes to scoring, overall stats, and like all that in the season. It's just Aja had an insane season this year. But yeah, so I just chose them too. And I also feel like we should have put more of the WNBA in this podcast because we said that when we did the trades, we didn't talk about it. So when we talk about rivals, these are the first two people that popped in my head that I feel like I needed to speak. I could have done Sabrina Iankunu with Caitlin Clark, but I was like, nah, I got to go with Stewie. Stewie's my girl since she was in UConn. I can't. Love her.
Okay, I'm staying on the same category then.
Woo!
We're going basketball, I guess.
Yay!
But we're going 2 teams. And we're going to college.
I know what you're talking about. I'm ready. Rock
And they're only 8 miles apart, so it makes sense for this rivalry.
Yeah.
8 miles.
8 miles.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
distinctly 8 miles apart from each other, these 2 schools.
And they're both the color blue. One's just darker than the other.
One's the right color blue.
Oh, do I already know it?
It's my basketball team that we're talking about here.
UNC. Is it UNC and Duke?
Fuck
It is
yeah!
UNC and Duke.
That's so funny.
I knew you were gonna do that. I knew it.
So they have been battling it out.
She's like freaking out.
Since
Dude, UNC's my team.
1920. UNC's her team too. It is the only team in sports that we agree on.
It's true.
They've been battling it out since 1920. That's over 100 years of history, and it's only gotten more heated. The rivalry defines college basketball and even has its own name, the Tobacco Road Rivalry. So there was the 2022 Final Four game, which is when UNC spoiled Coach K's final game at Cameron Indoor.
That still breaks my heart to this day, but I'm sorry, Coach K.
Sorry, Coach K, but bye.
That's a mood.
We're also talking legendary players like Michael Jordan, James Worthy, Zion Williamson, and RJ Barrett. It doesn't matter which location the game's at. Every game feels like it's like literally Final Four worthy game because they're never away or home. They literally have to camp out to get tickets for these games, the students.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
They do like this whole big camp out where you're literally intense getting online for tickets for the rivalry game. So,
It's the most. I literally, when that game happens, you cannot remove me from the TV. You cannot
distinctly, you can't even talk to me.
No.
Phone's on Do Not Disturb. The only person I'm texting is Sam.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, remind me to not have anything important happen on those.
Apparently, we all went with basketball because I found a different one, and I like this one. So, which I didn't even actually realize that they were considered rivals because they like played for the same team. I think I'm pretty sure. They definitely did. But what I came up with was Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh, they hate each other.
I didn't know that they hated each other until now.
No, they literally like hated each other.
I didn't know that until right now. So this is news to me. I love Kobe. I don't really pay much attention to Shaq, but like I loved Kobe with like every part of my being. So that is my rivalry.
I support it. They genuinely like hated each other.
I know, it literally has comments on this article that I found of them like chirping each other and like coming at each other, and I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
So that's my rivalry. There we go. Kobe and Shaq.
Love it.
So who do you think won that round?
I don't know. It's hard because we all picked basketball. I almost want to give it to Kate because of the Larry Bird and Magic Johnson.
I think
Because it's
Kate- I
old
think
school.
Kate.
I'll give it to that because it's old school. But I also think we should let people in the comments decide too, because since it's like a basketball themed topic, but I'm gonna give it to Kate, like definitely, because I'm an old school galley. I love
I think Kate, yeah.
We can have like who the four of us chose to win.
Yeah.
And then we can have like
Round 4. Clutch moments are key, but what if those clutch moments made you hate the player? Let's talk about the clutch villains.
Yup. So
you're up.
So I'm unfortunately gonna have to resort back to hockey for this one because my my first option was gonna be Tom Brady. And when I tell you one of my analysis for this was he's widely known as one of the greatest quarterbacks, if not the greatest quarterback of all time. And I'm like, yeah, I can't say that now that Lauren has expressed her hatred. So
Fuck Tom Brady.
So my other clutch villain, as much as I also despise this person, is Connor McDavid.
Yeah.
Yep. One of the reasons he plays for Edmonton, I literally in my notes wrote in parentheses self-explanatory. He's like perceived as like untouchable, and fans feel as if he gets like preferential treatment, specifically like from refs, not getting called for blatant penalties. I still remember the playoffs when he high sticked Quinn Hughes in the face and didn't get fucking called for it. I don't forget. Anyways. And then he's just boring.
He's just boring.
He's just boring. Like I love how it's like he's so like, what clutch moments made you hate the player? I hate him because he's boring. But I also said
I hate him because he's mean.
yeah, I said he has no personality and actually doesn't stir up any drama within the sport, and he's practically invisible when it comes to like team advertising, but he's still considered one of the league's golden boys, and I fucking hate it. Like, yes, I know he's talented, but I can't stand him. I think he's boring.
It's so funny. In the Four Nations, the commentators were literally milking him. They were like, "Yeah, I think he's gonna score the goal. He's gonna win the game."
They
And he ended up
fucking
winning the
dick
game.
ride Connor McDavid so hard that I'm surprised they don't walk with a limp. Anyway.
Oh, Catherine.
And that's why everyone said I was the best trash talker.
End scene.
That was good right there. Fuck you, Connor McDavid. He is the clutch villain. Anyways.
I have two, but I don't know if I can use one of them because Ashley did UNC already.
I just did a team, not a person.
So
it's a little different than being the same person.
Okay, because mine doesn't involve a person. Well, it does, but it involves the UNC team, but it involves a person that played against UNC. So his name is Chris Jenkins, and he played for Villanova, and he's the reason why I hate and despise Villanova. So when the New York Knicks were like, yeah, it's Nova Nation, I'm like, now I can't watch the New York Knicks. I hate everybody. So basically the story is that UNC and Villanova were in the championship game for March Madness. UNC down to the wire, 10 seconds left. Marcus Page, his senior season last year ever to be wearing the blue and white, hits like a major 3-pointer. We're up by 1. I think. I don't remember. This whole part was a blur. I don't want to remember it. I'm on my knees watching this, by the way, like this close to the TV. And there's like 3 seconds left on the clock now. Villanova pushes the ball up the court, and this guy, Chris Jenkins, Hail Mary from like half court. Goes in, Villanova wins. And I think ever since then, I personally don't like Chris Jenkins. But it made me hate Villanova in the end. But that was a clutch play for him. But yeah, there was that. I didn't want to know if I wanted to use that one because it's more biased, if anything. But yeah,
I feel like my entire list is biased.
Well, that's why I asked Matt for an opinion, and Matt gave me a really good one. That was like, ooh, but I'm saving Matt's options for the next pick. Matt's getting a shout out because he helped me with the last one.
So you're going Chris Jenkins? I hate Villanova. I stared at my TV when that game ended.
I fell to my knees when I saw Marcus Page hit that 3 because Marcus Page at the time was one of my favorite UNC players, like ever, because this is when I started getting into really like big into college basketball. So I'm seeing this kid literally play his last game ever in Carolina Blue, hit that major 3-pointer, and he's thinking that, yep, we're good. I did it. We won. Psych.
Literally stared at the TV, like speechless.
Oh, I dropped. I stared at it and I just turned it off. I'd walked away in disbelief and I turned off like all my ESPN notifications. I did not want to hear a single word about it.
I'm going back to baseball.
I'm waiting.
The Red Sox.
Current?
Whoa.
Old.
Oh.
Commentator now. Big Papi.
As soon as you said old, I said it's gonna be Big Papi. I just know. Like I'm not even a baseball person. I know who Big Papi is.
If you're a Yankees fan, you hate this man.
Valid.
He hates us too, though, so it's fine.
But I have no problems with it. I'm a Mets fan.
Whether it was a key home run, a crucial base hit, or a walk-off, he always seemed to perform when it mattered. distinctly against the Yankees. He liked to ruin our day. Let's start here. 2004 ALCS. The Yankees were up 3-0 in the series. What happened? Ortiz happened. He had a game-tying hit in Game 4, and his walk-off homer in Game 5 became iconic, and it's still on highlight reels today, and literally deflated the Yankees' run and was one of the greatest comebacks in the Red Sox history.
I just feel the disgust in Ashley's voice right now.
She's like, I can't believe I have to be talking about him.
I was like, he's really clutch, so he's like perfect here, and I'm sitting here talking, and I'm like, am I really talking about this?
Like, you're going so slow in your like notes, and I'm like, I know for a fact
a lot of pain.
So much pain. Anyway, if you were a Yankee fan, you literally like dreaded Big Papi. He had a way of stepping into the batter's box and just ruining your day. His personality made him even more dangerous. He had this larger than life charisma. He still has it, and I love him as a commentator. Like, he's one of my favorite people now.
He went against the Mets. I hate him.
Are you surprised, Bo? But he's fun. Like, he's a fun commentator. Like, I really can't hate on the guy now. But when he was playing, I hated him. So he owns the big stage, and he is the perfect clutch villain. Even if I disliked him as a player. I don't hate you anymore, though.
You hear that?
Say that as if he can hear you.
You hear that? We love you
Listening,
now.
actually.
As long as
He's
you're not
listening,
wearing a
actually.
jersey, we love you.
He subscribed, didn't you know?
Yeah, that'd be dope, actually.
Yeah, he's user 3013567905. If you didn't. That took so much energy to think of just a combination of numbers right there.
So I could tell your brain was really thinking on that one.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, the fact that I was like 5, 6, 7. Right. Anyways.
Lauren, you got one?
Yeah, I'm going with Michael Jordan.
Real?
Yeah, I'm picking Michael Jordan. Cavs fans will know why. I like Michael Jordan. I was big into Michael Jordan, but he's a clutch villain. He was always so good at coming up in the biggest moments when it really mattered, and it always pissed off everybody else. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory. All you got to say is MJ, and everybody's like, yeah, that's real.
Yep.
He's a UNC legacy, so I have no hate on MJ. I'll never hate on him.
I love MJ.
Plus,
He's
he was
better than
He's
LeBron.
not a villain to
Damn.
me, but he's a villain to everybody else.
You can't make me hate him ever.
My next category example, he's not a villain to me, but he's a villain to everybody else. But we'll get there.
No, but it was so funny
I'm
because
just foreshadowing.
my first impression of Michael Jordan was him in Space Jam.
Not a bad impression, honestly.
I support that.
I loved that movie.
I hate it when they recreated it with LeBron James, but that's besides the point.
Well, that's because I hate LeBron James.
I have not watched that one.
I did not watch that either. I
can't
watched
outdo
it
the
for like
doer.
5 minutes. It was on TV, and I was like sitting there. I was like, you know what? Let me just give it a try. And my God, I could not do it. It just, no, it should be done once and once only.
The magic stuff.
LeBron James.
Moving on.
All right. So round 5. Lastly, we got the off the field or off the ice menace, someone who's stirred up the chaos outside of their game. So I should say off the field or off the ice, but off their respective playing fields, we should say. But who stirred the pot? Who wants to stir the pot first?
I feel like I mean, I'm going to go a little bit of a more serious, more darker route for this one. I'm going to go with Aaron Hernandez, former NFL tight end for the Patriots, whose promising career was derailed by serious legal issues. He was arrested in 2013 and convicted for the murder of Odin Lloyd, leading to a life sentence. And then he, tragically committed suicide in prison in 2017. So, I mean,
Crazy.
I guess murder may make you a menace.
I don't disagree with you.
I
don't either. That was not the route that I expected this to go.
I just feel like that's like a type of menace that we're not expecting, but also I don't think people expected that from him either. Like when
No.
that whole thing happened, people just didn't want to believe it. And then all this evidence came out and he was convicted. And now they're like, wait a second, like all these documentaries are coming out and even the new one that just came out too. So I think it's really relevant to bring him up.
Very relevant.
Because I think that really did stir the pot in his life because he was meant for really big things. And this really changed up a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like that one.
Thank you.
She went cryptic over there.
Yeah, I did. I was like, you guys are laughing? Don't.
All right. So mine, I had to ask my fiance for it because I could not think of anything besides like nothing. Actually, I didn't even have an example to say besides by. So I asked him, I was like, give me an example, like who's considered a menace off the field, like whatever they play on. And I gave him the example of like how you did Aaron Hernandez and then like Dennis Rodman, whatever else. So he said Antonio Brown. I was like, nope, we're not doing that one. Then he's like Deshaun Watson. And then he goes with the rub and tugs. I go, I'm not doing that one either because I'm just leaving the whole, because I already did a sex scandal one. So we're going to go with Greg Hardy, who was arrested, turned into an MMA fighter, but gets knocked out every single time he fights. So I actually found like an article where it's like, there was legitimate photos of his, I think it's his wife or his girlfriend, literally beat really, really bad, bruises, everything like that. He was a free agent at the time. And this is where I also can say that it's a CTE relations because a lot of NFLs lash out to certain reactions to certain things because of CTE. And that's a sign of CTE being very violent. Like that's pretty crazy. So I'm actually going to look up his MMA record right now because I'm literally like curious. Wait, MMA record. Wait. All right. Wait. Okay, Matt's stupid. He literally is 7-5-0. So he's not
bad.
No. So Matthew clearly gave improper information. So I apologize to these people listening to being like, what the fuck's this girl talking about? It's not me. It's my fiance. We can blame him. But oh wait, this is UFC. But like, I don't know. I just think that it's kind of crazy that he bounced from one sport, couldn't get picked up because he was a free agent, and then all this stuff happened with beating his significant other to going into a different sport and somehow not excelling in it and just thinking that he can turn his life around some way, somehow.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed, right?
No, because it's actually kind of funny. I think he belongs in a ring to get his ass beat.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one is I'm not really good on because I couldn't think of anything, so that's why I had to ask Matt.
I support it.
I could have given you one of my options.
See, but like Matt gave me 3 of them, and of course they're all pertaining to football. And I literally could have did like the rub and tugs one that he wanted me to do, but I'm also like, I already do like sex scandal thing. I'm not gonna do another one.
Which is fair, but I also feel like abuse is menace worthy.
True. But like I also didn't know what we were going for when we said the word menace.
Right.
I think
I went completely the other way.
Ashley kept it PG.
Ashley kept it chaotic.
We went cryptic.
I actually said this man is going to be in my draft no matter what I do.
I'm prepared.
So I'm going troll mode where you guys went cryptic. It's not traditional menace behavior, but I like making people mad. And if you're not a fan of him, you hate him because he kind of is a menace. He's one of the only quarterbacks to ever beat the Chiefs in a playoff game. Shows up to games looking like he's about to drop a platinum album. Opposing fans hate how effortlessly cool he is.
Effortlessly cool. Oh my god.
He smoked a cigar in the Superdome after LSU's championship and made the whole world his post-game photo shoot. I don't know if you've ever seen these post-game photos. They're hysterical. I am obsessed. And he mentally owns opponents. If you guys haven't guessed it by now, it is Joe Burrow. I decided to go left field because I said this man needed to be in here somehow. Because
That's real,
if you're
though.
not a Burrow fan, if you're not a Bengals fan, you hate on him. I love him, and he was my menace because he is a menace.
I love it. That's so good. That's so good.
We love it.
Okay, go for it, Lauren.
Okay, I went hockey for most of these because that's the sport I watch the most. But this one, true. I went kind of like the same, like, troll mode, not cryptic menace with this one. He's known for being just an absolute like menace, terror in the dressing room. He loves to pull pranks, like especially on Crosby, and I love it. Marc-Andre Fleury is my off-ice menace.
As soon as you said pranks in the dressing room, I was like, I know exactly who you're saying.
As soon as like Ashley sent the list of like what we were gonna like draft today, I was like, Fleury immediately. He is my favorite. Like even on the ice, he's a menace. He is just a menace. Like there is no on or off ice, and I'm here for it.
It's actually funny you mentioned like his pranks and his jokes. I just got one in my head, and I was like, I could have easily done Escobar that was on the Mets. I miss that man so much. Every time they asked him a question, like their social media team be like, Escobar, like, what's your favorite like ice cream flavor? He'd be like, 5 minutes, and like walks away, like still thinking, like just the stuff like that. And I'm just like, I miss his like persona, I miss his humor, and I feel like he's a menace when it came to like those social media things because he would never give a clear-cut, direct answer. And I just miss him. I just miss him.
That's real.
I had so much fun doing this, guys.
Yeah, this was fun.
Literally, me too.
This one was a good one.
I'll use more brain power, but this week was just not it for me.
All right, folks, that's the draft. We've got some serious villains in here today, and honestly, this roster could take down any championship team just by pissing them off. Let's do a quick recap. In the most hated by fans category, we've got Brad Marchand, Joel Embiid, Rat Boy, or Matthew Tkachuk, and the refs. In the biggest rule breakers, we've got Tanya Harding, Andre McGee, Tom Brady, and A-Rod.
Andre
McGee. Listen, leave me alone. Leave my pronunciation alone.
It's late.
In the ultimate rival, we got Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. The WNBA Stewart and Wilson rivalry. Kobe and Shaq. And UNC and Duke. In the clutch villain, McDavid, Chris Jenkins, Michael Jordan, and Big Papi. And finally, the off-field menace is Aaron Hernandez, Greg Hardy, Marc-Andre Fleury, or Flower, as I literally wrote on here, and Joe Burrow. So now here's where you come in, listeners. Who do you think drafted the ultimate roster of sports villains? Head to our Instagrams and Twitters. Let us know your thoughts. I'm going to put a graphic up with each of our drafts. And don't hold back. We want all the smoke. Catch us next week for more unfiltered takes and who knows, maybe even some redemption arcs for these villains.
Thanks for tuning in to Brunettes Who Bitch. We'll be back with more sports takes, drama, and laughs next week. Until then, remember, there's no such thing as too many villains in the world of sports. Bye! Heart hands!